Hello, my name is Lucy O'Reilly, and first of all I'd like to say I'm sorry for my voice. It is absolutely gone, but I'm going to do my best here. This is my sketchbook for my portfolio. My theme for this sketchbook was breakfast, so I'm just going to get into it now. So first of all, I went through to the left. Just I did a deep dive into all things breakfast. All of my ideas. So this was really just an overview of breakfast. And then on more the detailed page, I made a lot of lists. And on my second page, I went through a lot of my ideas. A deep dive. So this is just absolutely not pretty, but my main idea was to go through so I went breakfast through the classes. So I have rich man's breakfast, middle class man's breakfast, and poor man's breakfast. And you'll see what I did with all of these designs. On to the next page. So on this page, I really just did a lot of visual research. And I looked at the breakfast that I eat in the morning. So I have eggs and fruit in the morning. So at the bottom right hand corner, I looked at, I did a few gouache studies of fruit. And on the top left hand corner, I did a graphite study of fried eggs. And then in the top right hand corner, I did some photography of my fruit bowl. So onto this page. So it was on this page where I was just experimenting really. I stuck on some packaging for fruit because I was looking at oranges. So I stuck down the Easy Peelers packaging, just plastic. I liked the textures and I really liked the texture of the netting. On the right hand side, I worked again with a little bit of photography of the oranges and I loved the way they came out. They were really bright. So onto this page, this was when I was looking at poor man's breakfast. So my original inspiration for this was my food bin when I saw that there was a lot of waste in it. I also did a quick study of my green food bag bin, and then that was my original preliminary sketches for the piece. So you'll see my final piece in my portfolio. So onto this page then, I'll just flip that up there. I was looking at middle class man's breakfast. So I was looking at the privilege of having no food that you want to eat in the house, but food in the house all the same. I'd say I would fall into this category of society, and I just think it's very interesting. So I did a bit of photography, and I drew a few bits that were just in my cupboard, just random pantry essentials, that were still just very privileged to have. And then in this piece, I had some plums from my garden, so I stuck them in, and some bread and a few canned bits. So I believe that's in my portfolio, but that was the background work for my middle class man's piece. Right, so on to my next page. This was where I was looking at my breakfast and the breakfast that I eat every day. Really, I have scrambled eggs or fried eggs every morning. And on the left hand side, I did a little comic strip. It's quite small, but I was kind of working out compositions in my sketchbook, and eventually then it turned into a bit of a comic strip of me making eggs. So yeah, that was quite fun. And then that was how I decided my final composition for that piece. So that wasn't done in gouache. Onto this page. This was where I looked at rich man's breakfast. And yeah, a lot of pictures from the internet of very extravagant breakfasts, morning feasts, as I kind of termed them. And then up in the top right hand corner, then I've got my granny had a china vase, and I used that as a primary source, and I just did a bit of watercolour study of that, and I really liked the way that turned out. And I also have a bit of blue. Onto this page, I was looking at the artist Muka, who's generally an Art Deco artist, but he also did a lot of silver work studies, and he captured the light really well. So I wanted to capture that with the spoons, because obviously spoons are quite important for breakfast. I have a continuous line study and I think a 2-minute blind drawing, or a 1-minute 30-second blind drawing, something. And yeah, again, just more studies of silver. I really like how that page turned out. I really like Muka. I like the way he works with silver and he shows it off. So I wanted to show that off. Onto this page. This was where I was working on china plates. So I on the top left hand corner I looked at blue and white china plates, and I was kind of studying the geometry around them, and I love the symmetry and the balance of them all. I really like china plates. I think they're gorgeous. And then on the right hand page I was looking at a more modern twist. I wrote my thoughts in a circle just to go with the theme, but I was looking at William Morris and the strawberry thief and the flowers motifs. So on this page then I did collages. So I collaged up birds and one bird and two flowers, because I knew that I kind of copped that was a big motif in William Morris's design, and then I decided to do prints. So for this I used foam, and I'm just flipping through them at the moment, but I used foam and I put ink over it, and then I flipped that and then I printed that onto the paper, and I sewed that together with beads, which you'll see in a second. I binded that little book together, which is stuck into my big sketchbook. I really like how that last print turned out. And yeah, I've just got the beads there. But I wanted to this idea was to try to design my own plate. So yeah. And then I really kind of decided that I actually didn't love the modern twist on plates. So I decided to go back to my original idea of the willow plates and the blue and white china plates. So I did a study here of a sugar bowl top and plates. I say plates as in Delph. Sugar bowl top, and then this was a bird's eye study of that. So I used ballpoint pen, and the other page I believe I used just different media in blue. These pieces are both in my portfolio, and I really like how the china turned out. So now back to the plate that I designed. I also have a few more sample prints that I did. These are on A4 paper, and I really like how the purple one turned out because it's kind of multicolored. It's light purple, dark purple, and white. So I did that with different papers and stuff, and I really like how they turned out. So finally now, this is where we get into my pastry work. So I was really intrigued by pastries because I love the textures of them. And for this, I remember I was on holidays with my sister and we had just bought pastries. So I did a quick study of gouache in them. But then I looked at croissants and I did a few blind drawing studies. And I think the thing that I can take from this was that I really liked the textures and the bubbliness of croissants. And this led me to want to make a piece of jewellery with the inspiration of a croissant, of the inside of a croissant. I love the holes in it. And I was really inspired by that. And I did a little bit of wire work, but I decided in gold, which I stuck on there, but I decided that I really wanted to do the technique of lost wax casting, which you'll see my process on the next page. But these are my preliminary sketches to the right. I really enjoyed this project. This was a very exciting thing. Right, so this page, I had so much fun making this ring. This is where I just wanted to show the development and my process. I was originally given the ring that I was given was it was just huge on my hand. So I sized it and then I filed it down with I filed it down with files, and I used a saw quite a lot. And you can see that I had my preliminary sketches right under me, just so I can always look back and remember what the goal was. But on the next page, you'll see that I really went into the real fun bit of designing the ring. So on this page, I was looking at my preliminary sketches, and I really wanted to get that to be as accurate as possible because I loved the croissant cavity vibe. So I used a drill bit and I screwed into the wax to make holes. So I made a good few holes in the ring, and yeah, I just continued making holes. And then at the end, then I kind of carved into it a bit to make it more like my preliminary sketches. So I really had a lot of fun with this. And finally onto my last page. So on this page, I was really just working on making my design for my ring commercial, because I am aware that not many people, well, not the entire population, wear rings. So I wanted to make my design as accessible for everyone as possible. So I decided to make it into a ring, well, obviously a ring, a hat pin, a brooch, earrings and a bangle. And then my final design was a teacup to kind of tie back into my original theme of China. Thank you so much for giving me the time, and I hope that you consider my portfolio. Thank you very much.